Danny, don't you know you're on Geek.com?
Oh my god.
Wow, that's a strong opening salvo.
Yeah, that was really intense.
I'm Will Greenwald with Ninja Sex Party, Danny Avidan and Brian Wecht. Is it
Hi.
Wecht or Wecht or Wecht?
I Wecht.
Okay.
That's what I grew up saying and continue to say, but I like Wecht the most.
Ninja Sex Party, tremendous musical comedy duo. They just put out Cool Patrol last month that hit #1 on the Billboard charts for comedy albums, #2 in rock albums. They are touring the country right now and played just last night in our own fair New York's PlayStation Theater. And they're in the lab right now, so we're going to talk to them.
Awesome.
How's your tour been so far?
It's been a lot of fun, right? We've been having
Yeah.
a great time. What did we do? So we started out in the Southwest.
Yep.
Did like Utah, Arizona, San Diego. And then what was after that? Texas, Louisiana.
Yeah, Kansas City. Yeah, we're consistently amazed at how the fan base is just everywhere, you know, and they're all enthusiastic, and it's very overwhelming, I would say is the best way to put it.
Yeah, but we love it. We've been having a great time. We've been touring, of course, with Twerp.
Right.
You know, our
Tupperware remix party?
Yep, our opening band, backing band, and also opening act, and Planet Booty, kind of hip hop trio that is just awesome. And yeah, we love it.
That's really cool. Newest album is Cool Patrol. Do you have a favorite track from it so far? I mean, obviously, Danny, Don't You Know is an amazing music video, which we can talk about, but is there a song you guys are particularly fond of from it?
Danny Don't You Know is definitely my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
That just everything seemed to come together right on that one. There's a song called "Release the Kraken," which I
That's
love a
the
lot.
one I was going to say too.
Yeah. Just because we're big fans of like progressive rock from the '70s and
couldn't
stuff.
tell.
Like that. Yeah, totally. And '80s rock too, and that kind of has both in a weird way.
Yeah. I like GFY, which is kind of like a marching band thing. Very in-your-face humor.
Yeah, which is your style.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're proud of this one. We started working with a producer named Jim Roach, who really shares our sensibilities and kind of helps us with ideas, and he's kind of opened up our musical world a lot.
Cool. Now for the big music videos, Danny Don't You Know is the newest one, and it has Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things as young Danny Sexbang.
Yeah.
He's been a fan of Game Grumps, I think, has become very close to you guys. How'd that work out? How'd that start, and how'd you basically recruit him to be young Danny?
Do you want to tell the story?
Sure. I mean, as it turns out, his brother Nick introduced him to either Game Grumps or Ninja Sex Party when he was 9.
Yeah,
and
real young.
yeah, so he became a fan then, and so he's as young as he is. He's like 6 or 7 years deep being a fan with us. So he came to the office, and he's just such a great kid. And we ended up taking pictures with him. But I happened to be wearing the same shirt as him, and it looked shockingly like an evolutionary timeline.
Yeah, they were standing right next to each other, and it was like, oh my god, it's the same person.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so we just decided to sort of write a song around that, because we asked him if he'd be cool with, playing the young version of me in a video. And then we asked his dad permission, and his dad said yes. And just the whole family is really cool.
It's the only time we've ever written a song based on like a photo, basically.
But it's a great song and a great video you can check out now.
Thanks.
Another one from the same album is Cool Patrol, which I think is your most viewed music video on the channel, with like 12 million views.
Yeah.
Sort of how did that come together, and did you intend it specifically to be a canon sequel to Attitude City?
Let's answer the second question first. No, but I like thinking about it like that. That's cool. We don't really think about the canon too much, but I do love the machinations that people need to go through to try to get everything to be in the same universe. There was what was the question we got asked? Is the girl from Heartboner the same girl? Why is Danny dating a girl in First Date when he clearly is with a girl in Heartboner? And so our canon answer to that, and this was something that I came up with. This is definitely canon. Is that First Date takes place hundreds of years after Heartboner?
That doesn't make any sense.
No, just hear me out.
Sure.
And the girl in Heartboner is dead.
Wow, really nice. But I'm the same age.
Yeah, it happens.
No problem.
You never know.
Technology is advanced in the future. It's a whole thing.
It's a
she
little-
died before that technology got invented. That then you got old, but then you got de-aged through. It's CRISPR. It's basically CRISPR stuff.
It's a little bit like The Legend of Zelda, where every game they just do whatever is cool for that game, and then some brilliant fans sit at home and figure out, well, this kind of could work with this timeline, and then if they split it into 2 alternate dimensions, and then the fans make it work, basically.
So
They're
there's a
geniuses.
timeline where the girl from Heartboner isn't dead and actually went on to Koholint.
Well,
Let's say, why not?
If you believe in the multiverse, like
Right.
depending on which multiverse theory you believe in, there's a timeline where anything that is possible has happened. So, yeah.
And that's a great segue because Brian here, in addition to being a ninja and fantastic musician, is a theoretical physicist. Doctor and particle physicist. I think you've worked at MIT, Harvard, Queen Mary's College in London.
Yeah, Queen Mary University of London, yeah.
Right. Sorry, I got the name wrong. People
That's
mixing
okay.
up
They
college
actually
and university.
changed it a bunch over the years, yeah.
Because looking some things up, it's like, oh, Google Scholar, wow, Be Whacked is in like hundreds of different citations. Sort of what made you switch between or back and forth science and music, and have you ever tried to teach science to any of the people you've worked with?
Basically, I've just always done both, ever since I was kind of at least a teenager. Always been a musician, take piano lessons, saxophone, various other instruments, and always just had an interest in both, so, kind of always did both. When it came time to pick, I knew I wanted to go to grad school because I just wanted to learn more about stuff, and physics seemed interesting, and then just kind of followed that track until this sort of took off and seemed like a reasonable thing to do full time. Occasionally, people ask me about physics, when we're hanging out, but I think they don't really want to hear my answer. And so generally interest peters out about 30 seconds into, well, let's start with the basics, and then
Right.
people stop caring about what I have to say.
That's kind of a shame.
Yeah,
Because I think
I'm really interesting.
Just
Oh,
like
yeah.
real life.
I think one of the big, sort of core lore keys to Ninja Sex Party is that your background in physics enabled the creation of the time machine in 6969, which lets all this stuff happen.
Yeah,
that really is the Ocarina of Time.
You've
of
really
Ninja
done
Sex
your
Party.
research.
Well, that actually brings up an interesting question that people talk about, which is there's Ninja Brian, right, versus me.
Yeah.
So is Ninja Brian have a PhD in physics? And the answer is, of course, yes.
Hey, the sheep's out.
Oh yeah, we have a question.
We've got people asking about when you're going to tour outside of the U.S. Someone specifically mentioned the U.K.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, we've
Anonymous
been
person.
talking about that next year. Like nothing is set in stone right now, right? But
Yeah.
the goal for next year is to do Australia, Hawaii, New Zealand. I know Hawaii is not international, but it's not in
Close
the
enough.
It's
continental
far.
US. And then Europe, UK, also like probably a few dates in the UK, somewhere like Amsterdam, various Scandinavian countries, maybe Germany, maybe France. We're looking at a lot of stuff.
We've got a bunch of internal stuff to take care of first, but once that's all settled, like we have every intention of going to the UK for sure.
Internal, like in our bodies.
Sure. But that'll be amazing. I've never been there in any kind of professional setting before, so it'll be really, really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Any places you'd especially like to visit in Europe?
Well, definitely London. Yeah, I taught there and lived there for a
Oh, yeah.
while, so I really want to go back, and I really want to rub it in the faces of all my former physics colleagues.
Oh,
like,
sure.
look what I'm doing now. This is why I left you losers behind.
That's really nice. Good
yeah,
sentiment.
Revenge motivates pretty much everything I do.
Cool. I'd like to go to Edinburgh. That's one of my favorite cities in the world. It's just like, it really looks medieval, and it's a special place. Amsterdam would be incredible. Just generally these places that I visited in my early 20s just as a tourist, and they blew my mind to come back there and realize like, oh, there's people that appreciate what we do there. It would be very meaningful, I think.
I think it'd be cool to do a tour of some of the various microstates, Monaco, Andorra, Vatican City.
What are you talking about?
There's teeny tiny countries.
No, I know that, but you want to play Andorra?
Yeah, it's in the Pyrenees. It's awesome.
Okay, well,
You don't want to.
we're coming, Andorra.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
Yeah.
That's. I was trying to workshop a Bewitched joke out of that, but I couldn't.
It's totally fine.
Many have tried.
So yeah,
Few
you're,
have succeeded.
you're touring now as NSP. You've toured as Starbomb in the past with Aaron Hansen, Ego Raptor, Game Grumps. Danny's half Game Grumps. Aaron is the other half of the main personalities of Game Grumps. Obviously, it's an entire team. Respect to everyone involved because
Thank
that's
you.
a lot of editing work.
Yeah.
How different is it touring as NSP compared with Starbomb? And sort of like, where does the video game line start and stop for you guys?
Like with Starbomb, it's always been tacked on to the NSP tour. We've only done one show at the South by Southwest Gaming
Right.
Awards, right? That was just a proper Starbomb show. But it's it's a very different experience, right? Musically, Starbomb is pretty much all hip hop, and so it's like, it's just a different thing to do the rap stuff live than it is to do the sung stuff. They're both really fun though.
Yeah, I think so. Aaron brings a completely different energy to the stage than we do, so it's exciting in a way. I think I need more data. We've just had very limited experience doing Starbomb songs, and it was really fun. But we've toured or played shows as Ninja Sex Party in some form for almost 10 years now, so it really is a different kind of feeling.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of those Starbomb songs are impossible to perform live because the way you record them is you do a line, then there's another take, you do the next line maybe. The actual recording process is very different than just singing or rapping them on stage. And so when we were looking at the Starbomb shows, we were like, all right, we have, 20 songs. How many of these can we perform live? And I think the answer was 4.
It sounds like you're accusing Aaron of not having very good flow.
Oh no, we would
I
never.
would never
We
do
would
that.
never.
I don't want to.
He's got flow for days.
Yeah, I have enough beef with Aaron already.
Cool.
Oh, if there's Ninja Brian Ego Raptor beef, let's get it started now
Yeah,
on
hell yeah.
Geek.com. We got a question.
Is Danny still growing his hair out to donate it, or is he just feeling the awesome for now?
Oh, that's very kind. That's a very kind way to put that. Originally, I was going to donate it, but it just stopped right here, and it needs to get to here in order to be long enough to donate. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably just give a bunch of cash to charity. I'd love to do it if it would keep going, but Jewish God decided to just cut it off right
The
there.
Abrahamic God.
Yeah, sure. Do we not call it Jewish God? I'm sorry.
I don't know what to call it these days.
Both of us are of the very Semitic persuasion, and I have to wonder, do you do anything for your hair? Because when I grow it out, it doesn't fall like. I would love to have the flowing locks of yours. I just get the full the Fred Savage.
Well, yeah, I had that for a while too, and then gravity kicks in, and it's over the course of one day where it's like, and you're like, my life is different now.
Never gotten to that point, and I've never been able to make a ponytail because of it. We have a question.
Stay strong.
Is there any chance of an NSP lore book?
An NSP lore book. So what does that mean to you? Like a book that takes place within the NSP universe, or is it like a Bible with NSP lore? The answer is no either way, but I'd like to understand what the question's about.
I would assume something like a like Hyrule Historia that has screw it, okay, fine, it's all 3 timelines in one universe. Here's a little section. The rest is just art of Danny and the Unitard.
Yeah, that's it.
That'd be fun.
It would be Ours would be 98% art,
Yeah.
and 2% story.
We're actually talking recently about maybe writing a book sometime. I don't know what it would be, but it would be fucking awesome.
Can we curse on this stream?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Should we say fuck at the same
No,
time?
no, no.
1, 2, 3.
Fuck. Thank you. No, thank you.
Oh. First time I've ever been yelled at for not cursing. Life has really turned around on me.
So, between Grumps and Ninja Sex Party, video games are a whole lot of what you do professionally. What do you guys do to unwind when you're just trying to relax? And do you still play games? Do you read? What are you trying to chill out with?
Almost nothing. I really do just I'm beginning to understand my grandparents' love for sitting on a porch and looking at a landscape for 10 hours and doing nothing. I think because our careers require so much work and put us in the technological world so much, for me it really is not looking at a phone and not looking at a computer and just kind of vegetating for a little while. That's really, really important.
Yeah, I read a lot. Actually been playing Super Mario Odyssey with my daughter, who's really into it, and like to unwind with uplifting shows, your Black Mirrors, Handmaid's Tales, that's kind of things.
Some light fare.
Yeah.
I always find it very fascinating to follow you on Twitter both as BWEC and at Ninja Sex Party, and there's a dichotomous identity between, this is the stuff happening with my daughter, and I'm teaching her to play Mario, and we're talking about science, and then it's hashtag butt sex, hashtag cum, every day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what informs your persona online?
I just try. I mean, I really do think about this a lot because for a while I managed the Game Grumps, Twitter, all the whole social media. I do the Starbomb also, and I actually think a lot about the voice for the various accounts. So with NSP is basically it's just a joke machine or random dirty words. But often I'll think, what do people not want to see? And then I'll do that, and then when they get mad, I'll double down on it. And that's actually most of our social media presence.
We should really introduce you to our K. Thor Jensen, because that is exactly what he does.
Have you seen the catchphrase I've been trying to start on Instagram and Twitter? Yeah. So I've been trying to start this I'm glad we have time to talk about this. Catchphrase on our social media. Mostly Instagram, but it shows up on Twitter occasionally too. The phrase is, "Y'all want to do any cums?" And it's something that I've been really, it's really catching on. People seem to be responding really well to it.
They're not.
And I'm hoping that's not true. I'm hoping that it's the next big thing, the next where's the beef kind of style.
For an example on how it's not catching on, Matt Watson, our editor, on the most recent one, wrote, "Please fucking stop doing this." And that got over 1,000 likes in a couple of hours.
Yeah, those were anti-likes. Those are likes you give something when you want the opposite of that to be true. Though,
That's not a thing.
It's a thing.
Okay.
I think it's a thing.
It's definitely a thing. And he's a tech guy. So,
I follow social media. I am a technologist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Question.
Do you have any plans for the 10th anniversary next year?
Yeah. Well, no. we have plans to make plans for the 10-year
Yeah,
anniversary.
we really want to do like a 10th anniversary show. I mean, we started here in New York. We want to do some kind of 10th anniversary thing in New York. I don't know what it would be exactly. Probably a show, a big NSP show like we did. And we were also talking about it might be fun to like do a small UCB thing, like kind of where we started. We used to have a monthly show at the Pit here in town, and it'd be fun to do something there. UCB, I don't even know, but we definitely want to celebrate the 10 years here in New York, where everything started.
For sure. It would be cool to do, I mean, no concrete plans for this, but it would be cool to do like a DVD where we collect all the videos and do a ton of commentary and interview like the actors and actresses that have been interviewed. Because a lot of them came to the show last night, and it really is amazing. It's 10 years of our lives, and there's lots of different sort of generations of people that we haven't seen in many years, but we're still part of this thing, and it's very cool to see how it's grown. So it'd be cool, or maybe it's a coffee table book, who knows, but some kind of way to encapsulate all the whole experience, because it really has turned into something crazy from almost nothing.
Yeah.
It really was just two guys and a little piano when we started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The generational thing's a really interesting point, because and I noticed this at the show last night, that definitely a big spread of demographics and audiences, and I did definitely appreciate that the father of one of the guys in Planet Booty was running their merch table. So
Yeah.
he's just
That's
selling
awesome, yeah.
T-shirts with butts on it, and it's like, okay, I love that this is happening.
Dylan's dad is
That
great.
dude, before the show, he was literally sitting up, covered by a blanket in a dressing room.
Yeah,
so I walked by,
over the
it's
head.
just this giant lump blanket with sandals sticking out of it. It was awesome.
That's amazing.
Real rock and roll.
Do you ever see anyone at shows or any sort of live performance where it's like, why'd you bring your kid here? Or like, maybe you're too young to see Ninja Sex Party and all of our singing about dicks.
Well, they were at our Austin show. Someone brought a 4-year-old.
That's right.
Which was awesome in one sense, because it was like, that kid was in a little Ninja Brian costume. It was really great. But on the other hand, I was like, when is this kid's bedtime?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's also going to be real loud. Like, do you guys have, I think we even asked, do you have, earplugs or...
You asked
whatever.
because you care about children,
about that,
because you
yeah.
have your own.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things where I do love it, and it's like so cool to see it. But, it's like going to a midnight movie where someone brings a little kid, and you're like, I don't know about this. That
All
doesn't
I
seem
cared
like
was
the best
that,
decision.
I was like, he better have paid the full admission price
Oh,
ticket.
yeah, no,
That's
of
all
course.
I care about.
Yeah, I
Bottom
checked with
line.
that afterwards, and he didn't have a record of the transaction, so I kicked him out. Sorry, kid.
Send them to the merch table. You gotta
Yeah.
make that shit up.
So uncool.
So, question.
So someone had a question about Danny Don't You Know. Was there any part of the process of writing or producing the video that got somewhat emotional or therapeutic?
I would say writing it was emotional a little bit, just because it's sort of our life story. It's about me specifically, but we both had the same kind of nerdy upbringing. I think it got more emotional when we put it into the public sphere, and people started having a much different reaction to it than they'd had with any of our previous songs. By far, just a much bigger. Even people in our personal lives were reaching out to us and saying like, "This means a lot to me," and that had never happened before.
For me, it was that end screen, like this is dedicated to all the nerds of the world with the pictures of us. That when I saw that for the first time, when that was in, I was like, it really hit me.
Yeah.
Like more than anything up to that point.
It really spoke to me because like 12 years onward, it's like, nightmarishly awkward for still. But we have a question.
You're doing
it only lasts 17 years.
Are you going to sell the tour merchandise online?
I don't know.
We don't know yet. Yeah, there might be for the holidays. Might do kind of a bundle thing with some of the beanies or stuff, but I don't know yet. Last year we did. We had a bunch of merch left over after the shows that we did sell online. So if we have stuff left over, we'll get rid of it somehow, and I would imagine that means we'll sell it. But if we go through everything we already made, then probably not.
I hope you're very selective because when I buy a tour T-shirt, I want it to mean something. It means you're at the show.
That's honestly a big part of it.
There's that too. It's a balance because you want to be fair because we can't physically tour everywhere, so we don't want to punish people who are from cities that we can't get to. But at the same time, you want to keep things sort of special for the people who did go to the show.
Yeah,
but still, like not everyone can like make it to every show, and you've been having some sellout shows too, which is great.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's good to be able to share it.
Yeah,
Even if
sure.
they're gatekeeping assholes like me who are like, no, it's my shirt.
Yeah, I would imagine some of that stuff will be available, but definitely not until like late this year, early next.
It is funny you mentioning that, Will, because that's how I knew that this thing had gotten kind of crazy because when I was a kid, that was such a big thing. Like, this is my band, and like I feel the connection. And then when the band would get more popular, it'd be like, these fucking bullshit sounds. Like, I'm so tired of this, And when we started getting fans who would say stuff like, this isn't as good as their older stuff, I was like, yes!
It was awesome.
Yes, like we've gotten to the point.
I love the comments when people say, it just doesn't feel like Ninja Sex Party.
Yeah, it's like, that's fantastic.
That's a real compliment because it means we feel like something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that's a hard thing to do.
And that people care, you know. Ultimately, you'd rather have someone, this sounds counterintuitive, but you'd rather have someone be pissed off at what you're doing than be apathetic towards it.
For sure.
Because at least you're getting a reaction, and it means you did something that caused something visceral.
And that's my social media strategy.
It's not a good one.
It works.
Yeah.
Y'all want some cums? Question.
No, sorry. I have to correct you on this.
Sorry.
It's y'all want to do any
comes.
See?
Hashtag.
Yeah.
No, well, there's not really
So
a
you need a hashtag, it'll get it
involved.
working.
That's true.
You need to do it.
I'll look into it.
Maybe as an acronym.
I don't know. I have to file it with the hashtag board first to see if it gets approved.
Question.
Do you view the covers and the originals as separate things, or do you equally value them equally as NSP songs?
I mean, they really are separate in our minds. They're like, one is kind of an easier process than the other because you don't have to write a song. But, it's all just part of the general NSP thing when we do a show where we make sure to mix in originals and covers. We think a lot about, like, if we put in too many covers, are people going to be upset because there weren't enough originals and that sort of thing. But I think at least the way we approach recording them, it is kind of a different process.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because you could look at it in a few different ways. I think the cover albums have been extremely instructive for me personally because no one sings the same way, and to learn how David Bowie versus Freddie Mercury versus Prince versus Michael Jackson versus Kurt Cobain, like that what they do is so different that it shouldn't even be called singing. Like there shouldn't even be one word for it all. So getting into those songs and practicing them and learning how they all approached their vocal phrasing and projection and things like that, it really helped me be a better singer. And then when we went back to do our originals, I felt like I was coming much more from a position of strength when we were writing because suddenly there were all these things I could do that I couldn't do before. Mm-hmm. So the cover albums have been really helpful for us.
Yeah,
That's really cool. And they're really impressive covers. Because they come, really, like whether you're trying to like do your own spin on something or you're trying to like sound as much as like the 80s thing, which is what Ninja Sex Party like does, the whole synth feel to it. You make it a really good song performance.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Were you guys laughing because he said come? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay,
Wes-
great.
Wes will give a thumbs
Good
up.
work, everyone.
As soon as he said come, I heard And I was really happy about that. I have a question about those later. Yes, interesting.
Have you guys picked up any habits from each other over the years?
Danny, here's one. Danny has taught me a lot about basically self-care. Like, and it's not a euphemism, I mean, it is a euphemism, but like one thing that is important that he's better at than I am is kind of knowing boundaries and setting limits and taking time for yourself to recover. Coming from like an academic kind of background is always go, 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 push, push, push. And one thing I've definitely learned from you is that like, all right, maybe it's okay to say no to stuff and like chill out and just take some time for yourself.
Yeah, did we used to say this? I can't remember if we said it or we just thought it, but like, just that like, I'm the heart and you're the mind. We approach things differently as people. We get along really well, but you're very analytical in your thinking, and for me, I'm much more emotionally driven, and it's been kind of a good balance throughout the years.
Yeah, and it works creatively too, of course. Like even when we're just writing songs, you have a really good sense, just like an intuition about, oh, this works or this doesn't work, and I would often like try to. Like maybe even from a music theory perspective, be like, oh, let's try this chord, because I know this might work like this. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. So it was a really fun thing to like throw stuff at each other and see, is this interesting without being like too much, or sounding weird or.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like, you've studied music theory, you can read music. I can't read music at all. I don't know what note names are. It's like, I do it completely by feel.
They go from A through G.
Couldn't tell you, not ringing any bells.
Yeah.
So like, it's seeing your approach is super interesting, and I'm sure has expanded my horizons in ways that I can't really quantify.
And vice versa.
Yeah.
That's really cool. When you like write music, if I assume you write your own music and like you play feels what works for the song, you work together. Does your sort of science math background, like I know math is a huge amount of, music can have a huge amount of influence from math. Have you ever have you added complexity because of your academic background to sort of the music you structure?
Not, I would say yes, but because of my music academic background, not because of my science academic background. Like, I have a music math double major degree in college, and so I learned, and I studied composition, jazz, and classical, and I'd say the stuff I learned there, that definitely influences the songwriting, but it's never, it's not like we're writing a song and I'm like, what is string theory? What would string theory do here? Like, it doesn't really translate like that, but definitely the stuff I learned as a music student really does affect it a lot.
I suppose if you played a guitar more often than a keyboard, string theory would apply.
Yeah.
You've heard that 5,000 times.
No, but you know what? Never mind.
No, it was bad. I shouldn't have gotten that high five.
I'm glad you did it.
Thank you. So, you guys started out East Coast, New York, Jersey boy. Moved to California for working with Game Grumps too. So, which coast is the best coast?
Oh my God.
Well,
Start some beef
these are
now.
the hard questions, aren't they? I mean, this is a hedgy answer, but there are a lot of things to love about both of them. I will say that Long Island sucks, and
my
everything
God.
about Long Island is a disaster. But otherwise, there's stuff to like. I love LA. I love
Don't listen to Long
Northeast.
Island. You have an excellent selection of Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, but a terrible selection of Billy Joel's.
Brian is not a fan of Billy Joel.
It only takes
I
one.
like him.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's funny. Like a true hatred, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
If I saw him in the street, I would kick him,
Okay.
but in a fun way.
To answer your question, I don't know. It both kind of have. Yeah, it really is sort of dependent on where you are in your life in a strange way. Los Angeles, I've been living there for almost 7 years now. And
Oh my God, yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
crazy.
Yeah, I had that realization yesterday. I was like, where is my life going? It's sort of like, if you have something to do there, it is one of the best places to live
Yeah.
that you could possibly imagine. So many things are at your fingertips, so many opportunities. If you go out there, a lot of my friends who are actors particularly have struggled with this, but because it's sort of out of your control. You're going from job to job, and and if you go out to LA sort of with your hands out, like, please give me something, that's a very difficult,
hard.
And that makes it a very hard place to live, because if you're sort of on the grind, New York is an easier place to be struggling financially, if that makes sense. Like, you can,
Sort of, yeah.
yeah, like, because I lived here for 7 years as well, and I was really not well off financially at all during that time, and yet I could go out with $20 in my pocket and still have a great time in New York, somewhere.
Right.
You know, LA you can't.
It's so spread out. Like, literally, unless you have a car, it's really just hard to be in the city and do stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, both cities tremendously diverse. Like, great food, great art, great culture. I miss bagels, real bagels. West Coast bagels are fucking horrible. I hate them all.
Here.
But you know, I really do love them both.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're probably going to wrap up in a second. I just have one more question, and then I can thank you so much for coming by.
Sure.
Basically, it's that time of year. It seems really important for us to address it. Danny, what are you doing for Yom Kippur?
Oh, Yom Kippur. It's like the saddest holiday of all of them.
I know, isn't it great?
Yeah, it's
The
Screw
day of
Lent, we just need one
astonishment.
day.
for anyone who doesn't know, Yom Kippur is the Jewish Day of Atonement.
The happiest day in the Jewish calendar.
It's not. It's like where you try to atone for all your sin for the past year. Like, yeah, it is. It's a very condensed Lent.
Yeah. Well, it's after Rosh Hashanah, so I can't talk about that. So it's
Yeah,
like, hey, that's
yeah.
coming up.
That's true. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably atoning pretty hard, because I am sinning like a
No,
motherfucker.
yeah, I'm
these
watching him
days.
doing it.
It's
gross.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You could use a good Yom Kippur yourself, I bet.
Yeah, well, yeah, I am half Jewish, and I have a lot to apologize for. Both halves of me.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
You know, Danny and Brian, thank you so much for coming by. This is Ninja Sex Party. Their album is out. I almost said Attitude City. Cool Patrol is out. It's a big album. They are still touring. They're a great show. And you watch them on YouTube. There's also Game Grumps and Starbum and all the stuff they're in. And if you're watching this, you're probably a fan already. So thank you. And we'll see you later with whatever. We might be doing a game stream tomorrow, but not with these guys. They got to go.
Cool.
Thank you. This
Thanks,
was
guys.
fun.
Thank
Will.
you, Will.
Thank you.
Thank you.